My tattoo. It's burning. I think I put lotion on it too soon. Okay. Okay, I need you to stop squeaking, please. So since I got a tattoo yesterday, I thought today would be the perfect time to talk about getting your first tattoo. Alright, I needed to take the squeaker away. She loves playing with this when I'm trying to make a video. Yeah, since I got a tattoo yesterday, I thought today would be a good time to talk about getting your first tattoo and some things to consider when you get a new tattoo. So the first thing, obviously, is to have some type of idea of what you want to get. Don't need to know exactly, you know, the layout of it or exactly how it's going to look, because really you should let your tattoo artist kind of take over that aspect of it, unless you're like 120% sure you know how you want it. My advice is to present the artist with some ideas, like you know you want X, Y, and Z in your tattoo, and then let the artist kind of just create, you know, what they want. And I know that can be a little scary because you're like, okay, I'm letting a stranger put something on my body for the rest of my life. But you really need to trust your tattoo artist. And personally, I love having the artist's touch on the tattoo. I'll cover some other things here shortly about tattoos, specifically copying tattoos. So, well shoot, I guess let's talk about it now. So, because I guess it ties in with knowing what you want to get. Anyway, so let's say you see something online that you really like and you're like, wow, I want to get that tattooed. Whatever artist you go to, you know, they shouldn't be like, okay, and just like copy it and then tattoo it on you. Unless it's something that's very specific, and I'm trying to think of something like a cartoon character. Obviously, the artist can't take that and change it, because then it probably wouldn't look like the character and it would defeat the whole purpose. But I'm talking about like custom pieces that you see online, like my chest piece, for example, is a custom piece. Really, no one on the planet should have a tattoo exactly like this, because one, my inspiration didn't come from another tattoo, it came from a statue. And if someone does have the same exact if someone does have the same exact tattoo, then they obviously copied it off of mine, which I doubt has happened, because I'm not famous, no one knows me. So, but I hope that makes sense. Like, you can definitely take photos to show to your artist, like, hey, I love this tattoo. And a good artist is going to say, cool, I can definitely make that for you, but I'm going to design it myself, put my own spin on it. So, kind of like my next point, I guess, is like to never ever ask for a copy of a tattoo. Again, especially when it's a custom piece, because it's kind of shitty stealing someone's, you know, custom tattoo to have it tattooed on your body. Honestly, like 90% of the time, the copy looks like complete utter shit compared to the original, because they try to change it or try to make it their own, but you know, at the end of the day, they still want that same exact tattoo. So just don't do it. Let your artist create something unique to you and unique to really both of you. To me, that's what like getting a tattoo is, and the experience is, you know, it is artwork. And yes, it can be your ideas and your artwork if you're, you know, up to that caliber of artisticness. So also this one's hard, but like the longer you wait to get your tattoo, the better. And that's just because, you know, let's say you're planning to get a tattoo in 2 weeks time. It just gives you more time to feel, you know, acclimated to the tattoo and the design, and it, you know, time will really tell if it's something you want on your body for the rest of your life. Like, I definitely have a tattoo that I just kind of created one day because I just wanted to get tattooed again, and I don't really regret it, but I could live without it. I think I mentioned that in my tattoo tour video. Second piece of advice, after you kind of have an idea of what you want to get is hold on, my dog is doing something. I'm gonna run out of film time. The second thing is to research your artist, and I think that's so important. Talking from experience, I would completely avoid tattoo shops that kind of boast like walk-ins. I mean, most tattoo shops do walk-ins, but like if that's like their main advertisement, red flag. Again, from experience, because I've gotten tattooed at, I'm not gonna name the tattoo shop in Columbus, but I've gotten tattooed there a few times, and every time has sucked. It has honestly sucked. Like, I've never felt more, what's the word? Like, you and your tattoo artist should have, not a bond, but a conversation at least. And like, every time I've gotten tattooed at this one shop, it's just like, I'm like, this is what I want, this is my ideas. Like, with this tattoo, it's hard to see. Specifically, I told the artist what I wanted, and I remember physically telling her in person, I want this, but I want you to make it your own because I want your artwork on my body. And after being canceled on 10 minutes before my first appointment, I went on my second appointment and saw exactly what I had drawn, you know. And again, being young and eager, I was just like, whatever, I drew it, get me tattooed. It's not that I hate it, it's just that there was no connection with that artist, and I don't have that artist's artwork on my body, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I drew it, but I'm not drawing things that I drew to put on my body. I hope that makes sense. So definitely research your artist, because you also want to, you know, you want to choose an artist, one that you feel like you're going to want to get along with, but an artist that is interested in the style as you want your tattoo to appear. So if you want like a bright, bold, colorful piece, you're probably not gonna want to choose someone who only does black and gray. I mean, that seems like common sense. And you know, you want your artist to be excited about your tattoo and be excited to do it. So definitely take a look at their portfolio or any of their social medias, because that will tell you a lot about the person and if you and that artist will kind of mesh together. Because my story is a little different about how I met my current artist, but I did go into a tattoo shop in Columbus that they do walk-ins, but only on the weekend, so they don't really boast walk-ins, they don't do them every day. And I'm not saying like a tattoo shop that has walk-ins every day is a bad one, because the shop I go to now, they participate in walk-ins every single day. There's a lot of factors that go into if a tattoo shop can do walk-ins every day. Not really going to go into that, but I don't know what I was saying. I met my artist through like a walk-in, but that particular shop only did walk-ins like once a week. And I'm not saying you can't find a good artist. Not saying that at all. But again, I would just be wary of, you know, shops that like really boast that. Just from my own personal experience, every time I've went to a shop like that, it hasn't been good. I don't know why. I honestly feel like they're just after the money rather than the tattoo, and it should be, you know, the other way around. Obviously a tattoo artist tattoos to get money, but I don't know. I just feel like a walk-in only shop are good for like little dainty tattoos, nothing like that's gonna take like 2+ hours. I don't know. Again, I met my artist through a walk-in, and he was awesome. He moved shops, so I followed him once he moved, and I think I have like 4 or 5 tattoos by him now. With the shop, I would also recommend reading the reviews of the shop, because that also can tell you a lot about not only like the service of getting a tattoo, but even like the atmosphere of the shop, the cleanliness of a shop. A shop should be clean. They should use prepackaged needles, plastic wrap on literally everything. So definitely read reviews. The fourth thing is to expect to pay a decent amount for a tattoo, or a good tattoo at least. If you want a good tattoo, you're gonna pay more. You know, you can go to any artist who's, you know, on social media saying, you know, like the $50 tap out tattoo. Like, I mean, yeah, there are some apprentices that are, you know, good, honestly, but I wouldn't recommend getting a tattoo in someone's house. I've never done it, so I can't really speak to it, but I wouldn't trust it. It just sounds weird, like, oh, $50 for as long as you can go. Like, you shouldn't be shocked with, you know, an artist who charges $100 to $200 an hour. It's pretty common. I feel like the 125 to 150 is like, I think that's, you know, pretty common. Obviously, you get some artists who charge like $300 an hour, and most of them charge that rate for a good reason, because their tattoos are pretty good. There are some artists who charge, you know, that much for like little small tattoos. Not gonna name his name, but he's all over YouTube. And those are tattoos that aren't gonna last, and you're paying, you know, $400 for it. It's just crazy. But definitely don't try to haggle a tattoo price. That's just rude to the artist. You know, they work hard, they train for years. So if the artist is charging, you know, a high amount, if you feel like it's a high amount, odds are they're charging that for a reason. Alright, so number five, some tips when you're actually ready to get your tattoo. Obviously, you want to, you know, book an appointment with the artist that you feel like you're gonna mesh with well and feel like can really represent your ideas. So once you got that done, like your deposit, don't be surprised if they ask for like $50 or $100 deposit. And almost always, I don't see why it wouldn't. It goes towards your tattoo. But the day before your tattoo, get plenty of sleep, which can be hard because you're so excited or nervous. I've definitely been there. I've been so tired that I almost fell asleep getting a tattoo. Just get sleep. Also eat. I learned that the hard way yesterday when I got this little tattoo done. Again, because I was expecting just to go in and talk about the tattoo, and then he was like, okay, we're getting tattooed, and I was like, and my stomach's like starts grumbling, and I'm like, oh shoot. That definitely made the pain worse. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I could definitely notice a difference. Usually I'm like, ow. Yesterday I was like, oh, like, I'm hungry and like I'm in pain. It's just not a good combo. Bring snacks like these. Anything sugary, really. It doesn't have to be candy. You can bring like a banana or an orange, an apple, strawberries, grapes, whatever. I just like candy because I like candy. And it has a lot of sugar in it. So when you start to feel woozy or whatever, not woozy, but when you start to feel like you just need that little umph, candy's good. Sugary soda is good too. Arrive early. Definitely, you don't want to be strolling in at your appointment time or late. Especially not late, because that's just, again, rude to your artist who has probably already set up all the equipment. Especially if you're like 10 minutes late, 10, 15, the artist is gonna immediately think that you're a no-call, no-show. And if you want to work with that artist in the future, that's just not, especially if it's your first, you know, tattoo, not a good first impression. So arrive early because you most likely have to fill out paperwork. If you can, definitely get your tattoo alone. And it's not that artists hate when you bring someone. I would say one person at most. Just because, you know, more than one person, it can get distracting. And most tattoo shops aren't that big. So if, you know, you're getting tattooed, your artist is there, you know, you brought, you know, Henry, Larry, Susie Q, and Cindy with you, you're pretty much taking up 30% of the space in the tattoo shop. All the artists are going to get annoyed that they have to, like, maneuver around you. For God's sake, don't bring your kids. I don't know why you would want to bring your kid into a tattoo shop. just follow the shop's rules. Like, no one under 18, don't try to bring in someone that's 15 or 16. That just goes back to planning. If you know you're going to get a tattoo, get a babysitter. No one wants to hear like screaming or loud. Tattoo shops are pretty much always loud all the time, so just adding to it is not good for you or another person getting tattooed or the artist. I really need to get a bigger SD card because I had to stop filming and upload what I recorded onto the computer and delete it and put the SD card back in. So you're alone at the tattoo shop. Maybe you brought your friend or whatever. So when the artist presents you with the, the sketch, the stencil, the sketch, whatever of your design, don't be afraid to speak up about anything you dislike about it, because obviously it's going onto your body for the rest of your life. The artist will understand. Just don't get too picky, like, oh, I think it needs to go to the left, 2 centimeters. If you keep doing that, the artist is going to get pissed off. Yeah, again, it's going on your body for the rest of your life. But don't be too picky and, don't kind of criticize your artist. If they're telling you something like maybe the placement isn't the best, maybe the size isn't the best, they know what they're talking about and you need to trust them. I know it's scary. I know it's like, why am I letting this person I've never met, tell me what I want? At the end of the day, the artist is going to do what you want, but they will, if they strongly feel like it's not going to, hold well, or the placement is going to make the tattoo, appear different than how you want it, their interest is always, for the best, and not necessarily for you, but like for the tattoo and how it's going to age. So just trust them. I know I'm kind of being like hypocritical, but again, just don't be afraid to say, don't be afraid to speak up about something you dislike about your tattoo. My chest tattoo, I think we placed the stencil on maybe 3 times, just because I felt like it wasn't really centered. But my Adam's apple is kind of not centered, so I kept looking at my Adam's apple, and he's like, I swear it's centered, and I'm like looking at it, I don't know. But in the end, like, it turned out great. Like, he was like, man, it's centered, and I'm like, and we went around the tattoo shop, like, asking other artists, and they're like, does that look centered to you? And they're like, yeah, it's like as good as you're gonna get. Just trust them. You're more than welcome to say, hey, I don't like this design or this aspect of it. Can we change it? Things like that. Artists don't care about that. They just care about when you try to micromanage them. Just be respectful. And really, that goes both ways. Your artist should your artist should respect you as well. If you have like a mean, nasty artist and you honestly feel uncomfortable getting tattooed by them, say it. Like, I've heard of that instance happening. I've definitely heard of it happening where, like, maybe they're like, oh, I don't like this aspect, and then the artist gives them like major attitude or is just rude to them. You don't deserve that. If you're gonna respect your artist should respect you as well. And I guess that's a good thing about finding an artist that you can kind of jive with, because then you kind of start to understand each other and you work well together. Segue into that is like communicating with your artist throughout your tattoo. So once you got it, it's on your body, it's stenciled. Ow, I just hit my new tattoo. Once the stencil's on and you've looked in the mirror and you're like, okay, good to go. He's starting, if he's being too rough, or you need a break, or you need to eat your candy or your fruit, definitely let your artist know, because your artist, especially if you're doing a lengthy tattoo, your artist is most likely gonna want to take a break. Personally, I've never initiated a break. I've always let my artist do it, because I'm just like, go, get it done. I'm type of mentality. But don't be afraid to ask for a break. Don't be surprised if your artist wants to take a break. I don't know if you've ever had to handwrite something for, an extended period of time. Just imagine what your artist is feeling, hunched over, trying to be like as meticulous as possible. So another thing artists appreciate is a client that sits still, a client that isn't loud, that's not screaming. Oh. So an artist appreciates a client that is sitting still, not making any noise, like screaming or being loud with their friend if they brought a friend, because it's really hard to tattoo on someone that's moving around or trying to text or take a picture or video chat or video record the tattoo. I mean, a lot of shops don't even allow you to record just because of like the, all the flash artwork on the walls that kind of jeopardizes their ideas being stolen. So once your tattoo's done, obviously you're going to want to thank that tattoo artist, take all of their care instructions to heart and really, again, trust them. You're going to pay, at the counter or whatever. And then the next thing is super important. You always want to tip your artist. I always tip, probably because I go to my artist, like, for all my tattoos, but I tip over, like, 30%. I think tipping is super important. You really shouldn't go below 20% unless you had, like, a shitty experience or you're not 100% happy with your tattoo. I always feel really good about tipping well, just because I do appreciate, my artist, his time, his energy. Like, getting this tattoo yesterday, he came in on his day off, and like, that's amazing. Like, that's, I don't know. I don't have words to say how much I appreciated that, especially not knowing that he was going to tattoo us. I thought he was just coming in to like meet, chat about our tattoos and then schedule an appointment. He was like, nope, he was ready to tattoo, and that's awesome. I'm grateful that I found like an awesome artist. You can too. Like, just doing your research. I think that's it for this video. Obviously I could go on and on and on about, a multitude of things about getting your first tattoo, but I feel like those are kind of like the main hits of getting your first tattoo. It's a super exciting experience, but it can be kind of, nerve-wracking and scary because the pain. Yes, tattoos hurt, but in every single tattoo I've gotten, except my chest, the pain has always been less than I thought it would be. The chest hurt like a bitch. If you hear someone say it doesn't hurt, they either have no feeling in their body or they're a pathological liar, because it hurt. Especially the sternum. The sternum hurt the most. Everything else was like tolerable. Even the clavicle, the collarbone, wasn't as bad as the freaking sternum. I literally felt like someone had stabbed me in the chest and I went into shock. Don't let that scare you from getting a chest tattoo. I just would not recommend it being your first tattoo. Definitely not. It wasn't mine, so I had watched tons of videos on YouTube and I knew it would hurt. But I went through with it. It was definitely worth it. If all of us can get a chest tattoo, you can get a chest tattoo if you really want it. I think it's something that you really, 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 really want, because it's a lot to endure, but just like with all other tattoos, they're all worth it. But yeah, I guess that's it.